Hi everybody, it's Julie the Hairpist. Today we're going to do a little chemistry to prepare for the money piece highlight. The money piece highlight is what I call a highlight that I think if you're comfortable doing your own hair, it's something you can absolutely do yourself. It's the highlight that I did to transition because I just happen to have these two dominant white streaks right here. So for me, it was easy to see that's the quickest way to get out of my artificial hair color was to attempt to match up what's coming in naturally. If you are somebody who has the white, complete white streak right here, you can use the money piece highlight education to highlight off of that piece. As long as you get in there and match what you can see, that will instantly take you out of the line of demarcation. So if I'm somebody who has that white donut, which you may have seen my video where I did that for my friend Pinder, I did all the highlighting off of that piece. Back-to-back foils, if you're all white right here, you're going to be back-to-back foils right here. But you don't necessarily need to do anything underneath here. Or if you're someone like me that has these dominant white streaks, maybe your dominant white streak is right here or right here, you can literally match those white streaks with your highlight. So that way, when the hair starts to come in, there's no longer a line. All the stuff that's underneath, you don't need to worry about all that. When I did my transition, I only did highlights right here. I didn't do anything all through here. And you can see it's very silvery all through here. But when I did my highlight, I didn't put a single highlight back through here. And I wouldn't recommend doing highlights back through here unless you're really savvy at controlling your hair, because that's a lot to get back there. But in the front, almost any of us can do what's in the front. And like I said, I just did my pieces right here. But before we do the actual highlighting, we need to understand some technical things about hair. No matter who you are, you need to understand where you are on the scale of hair. And the number one thing I want people to understand before they highlight is what type of hair they have. Because if you're a straight-haired person and you've been putting dark hair color on your hair can take a lot of bleach. If you're a curly-haired person, your hair can't take as much bleach. And if you're an overly curly-haired person, your hair can take even less bleach. So there is a scale: straight, curly, overly curly. And really we can break up hair in all of those aspects. If you're the overly curly haired person, you're the fragile person. If you're the wavy to curly haired person, you have a little bit of fragility. And then the straighter your hair is, the stronger your hair is. The next part that makes our hair fragile is how big around the strand is. You've heard the term fine or coarse. What that describes is how big around the individual strand is. And just like a cruise ship rope, if I have a fat strand, I have strength. If I have a skinny strand, I have weakness. And that type of hair comes in every type of hair. So all of us know what we call African American hair. Most people consider that hair strong, coarse. That's a maybe. They come in every kind, just like every race. Most people think about Middle Eastern people having thick, long hair. Again, yes, they can have thick, long hair, but they don't all have thick, long hair. You have to figure out what you have and know what it can take based on what you have. So if you have curly hair, that's an area of fragileness. If you have thin hair, that's an area of fragileness, meaning the size of the strand. The next is density. We all think about people with thin hair, meaning we can see through it. That's their density. But believe it or not, there are coarse, wiry heads that are thin, meaning their strand is fat, but their density is very thin. You can see through their hair. So quantity will also give you strength. If I have skinny strands, but I have a bazillion of them, that's going to equal strength. If I have a skinny strand, but not a lot of them, that's going to equal weakness. If I have a skinny strand, overly curly, bounce back hair, that's weakness, weakness, weakness. Every place that your hair makes a bend is a stress point. So if you have overly curly hair where it's doing this, every one of those points is a stress point. And then that strand is skinny, that's more weakness. And then you have thin hair, meaning you don't have a lot. That's weak on top of weak on top of weak. So understanding, do I have a fat strand and a lot of it and it's straight and it's strong? Or do I have a fat strand and I don't have a lot? You're in the middle. Me, I'm right in the middle. I have medium density hair. I have a medium sized strand. I've got decent strength. But this lady, this is an African American woman. She's got baby fine hair. Her strand is half the size of mine. And her density is half the size of mine. So her hair is much weaker than mine. This person has straight hair, so they have a lot of strength, but not a lot of density. So that makes their hair weaker. This person has a lot of strength because their strand is fat. It's straight, so no stress points. They have a little bit of wave, but not much. And then look at that density. So they have a lot of strength to their hair. So the first thing to know is how strong is my hair. If I have a lot of strength, no, you can have the bleach on there for a long time if necessary. If I have weak hair, no, you need to be watching that bleach and checking it every maybe 15 to 30 minutes. Check it and see the integrity. And remember, when you've lost integrity, the hair looks like mush and cotton candy. It doesn't look like hair anymore. I promise you, if you ever get it there, you'll know it. But you will know it before you ruin all your hair. So you don't need to think, oh no, I'm going to ruin all my hair. It's not going to be like that. It's not a cliff that you fall off of in 5 minutes. I'm going to post a picture of what that yellow target looks like. And by the way, in that picture, the hair still looks like hair. I don't have a picture of mush, unfortunately, but let's hope you never need to know what that looks like. The most important thing to know when you're highlighting your hair is to understand what your hair can take when you're highlighting it, so that you don't take your hair too far, but also for the strand test. Because if you are somebody who's been coloring your hair extremely dark and you've been putting the color over and over and over on top of it, you may not be able to lighten it enough. And that's why I encourage you to do the strand test. Because if you can't lighten it enough, then you'll know, I'm not even going to embark on this lightening, trying to camouflage, because you're not able to get it light enough. You've got to get it to light yellow in order to receive that silver toner. If you only get it to orange, you will not be able to break up the line of demarcation enough, because orange is too dark. This is the level of orange. And as you can see, it is darker than my white hair. But if you look at this is as light, especially these ends, which is the color that you need to get to. It is as light as my white hair. It is the wrong color, but it is the right lightness. And that's what we're trying to do when we do this highlight. We're trying to camouflage the outgrowth, so we've got to get the hair as light so that the highlight matches what's coming in. The greatest part about doing it at home is that strand test. That strand test will show you what you can and can't do. And then if you're able to achieve that lightness, then you know you can keep going. If you're not, you can just bow out and decide, you know what, I just have to let it roll and do the direct dyes to camouflage. If you haven't seen my direct dyes to camouflage, you absolutely need to watch that, because that is my #1 choice for camouflaging when you're growing it out, because the direct dyes do not stain. They completely wash off. So you can use it for an event, or you can use it for fun like I do. My next video is going to be on your supplies, what you need to get ready for the highlight. Thanks for watching. Julie the Therapist.